So I guess, Jill, what got you into, I guess liking aliens and like astronomy, physics? Like, what was
Okay.
the whole situation?
So my dad was a professional football player very long ago for a couple of years. And my mom was an executive in retail. So if you look at pictures of me when I was a little girl, I'll be dressed up in this pinafores that are gorgeously ironed and starched, and I have little lacy socks and Mary Janes on my feet. And I'll be holding a big old fish, right, that my father had caught. And so I had this tension between spending all my time with my dad and being a tomboy, and then my mom getting fed up with this after a while and saying to my dad, Jill has to spend more time with me and do girl things. So my father had this conversation with me when I was 8, 9, something like that. And he said, your mom thinks that you need to spend more time with her doing girl things. And I just couldn't have been more angry. It seemed to me so unreasonable that you had to choose to do one or the other. Why couldn't you do it all? And so, tears, because even at 8 and 9, I knew that if you wanted your father on your side, tears helped. And so we continued this conversation. And after a while, my dad said, well, I guess if you're willing to work hard enough, you can do whatever you want. And I said, I'm going to be an engineer.
Wow.
I don't think I really knew what engineers did, but I knew my dad had a lot of friends who were engineers and they seemed to have a good life. And then a couple of years later, my dad died, right? So I learned this really difficult carpe diem lesson about, don't put off asking a question today because you might not have the person around that can answer it tomorrow. And so I just was left with this really stubborn, oh, well, I told my dad I was going to be an engineer, so damn it, I'm going to be an engineer. And I went to engineering school at Cornell. I was the only woman in a class of 300 entering that year. That was a bit of a real drag, but again, stubborn. I told my dad I was going to do it. And then I realized that I was getting very good problem solving skills in this engineering course. But at the end, and it was a 5-year course, at the end of it, I looked around and I said, engineers are as boring as my professors. I'm going to find something else to use my problem solving skills on. Yeah, it was a fair criticism of engineering school back in those old days. Um, and so I stayed around Cornell and just started to take a whole bunch of different graduate courses in all kinds of different fields, and ended up taking a course in star formation that was taught by Edwin Salpeter. He's fantastic, fantastic teacher. And who knew that stars had a life, right? They were born, they lived, they died in different ways. And I just thought, oh, these are interesting problems. And so I decided to go into astronomy as a graduate student. And then, as I've already discussed, SETI came along, not because that's what I was set out to do, but because I knew how to program that old obsolete computer, that someone came and asked me to join their team. And I thought, yeah, I got hooked and I've stayed hooked.
Wow.
So you were taking all of these graduate courses and you stumbled upon astronomy. Were you interested in a specific topic in astronomy or just astronomy in general?
No, it was the star formation that got me interested. And then, I started to, okay, I didn't do much astronomy as an undergraduate engineering student, so I'll go back and study the theoretical foundations and yeah,